Hi, Jim Conner here with Game Changers Silicon Valley. We're back at the RSA conference. It's a very broad conference, and today I'm with Bill Mann from Centrify. And Bill, you've given us some interesting points about the greatest vulnerability faced by corporate users, in fact by anybody, but especially in the corporation. I'll ask you to elaborate a little bit about that.
Yeah, the greatest vulnerability at the moment is the password. You know, if you look at the amount of money we're spending in IT security at the moment, it's about $75 billion, and you'd think that we'd solve the problems, but we haven't. You know, 2/3 of all breaches are to do with compromised credentials. You know, the fact that we've got the same passwords for accessing applications and our servers inside the data center, that is the biggest problem. Yet we, as an industry, haven't really done much about it. And I think that's really the biggest thing that I want to tell the audience, which is that we need to start thinking about this area around identity because it's only getting more worse. Most of us now are using cloud, we're using mobile, and we want access from anywhere. A lot of the technologies that we've been used to buying, like firewalls and systems like that, are really not going to stop the bad guys getting inside the organization. When you look at these attacks there, it's so easy for somebody to steal your password and get into an organization. And we all suffer with this. Even in our home use, we have multiple passwords for the applications that we have access to. And what we do is typically use the same passwords for all the applications. And unfortunately, businesses are doing the same as well. We don't focus on the consumer space, we focus on the enterprise space. And the reality is, you know, when you're working in an organization, you're using the same password, and you're using the same password with data center services as well. And that's the real problem that we're trying to solve in the industry.
So I understand the password issue. I sympathize, and I am plagued by the challenge of making up a different password for every organization I deal with. What is your approach? You mentioned two-factor authentication. Well, what is the right approach to this?
Well, there's multiple parts to this approach, and one of the things we did recently was we try to understand what's happening in the industry. So we did a survey with an industry firm called Forrester, and no surprise, we found out that 80% of organizations that are breached don't have any kind of implementation of identity-based security. And that wasn't a surprise to us, but it was a surprise to the market as a whole. And it tells us something very important about the market, that the market is not focusing on the bare essential types of security, and they're worried about other things. The other thing we did as part of that survey was to understand, for the companies that did implement identity management, were they less likely to have a breach? And that's exactly what we found. The technologies do exist out there from ourselves and other vendors in the marketplace that are focused on this area called identity management and identity security.
If people would like to follow up with you, what's the best way to reach you or your company?
Well, go to our website, www.centrify.com. I am Bill Mann at centrify.com, and reach out to me as well. I'd love to talk to anybody who's interested in this area.
Great. Bill, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I wish you every success going forward.
Thank you very much.